Hi, it's Jill. Today I'm going to show you how to make a shield like this shield from How to Train Your Dragon. This is Hiccup's shield from the latest movie, I think. And you could use these same techniques to do a lot of different types of costume pieces, shields of all shapes. You could probably manage some weapons like this, though they're not going to be very sturdy. This is not professional cosplay level stuff. This is not going to last forever. This is going to make it through a Halloween. Maybe your kids can play with it for a few months, but it's not going to last very long. But it's something you can do last minute if you've got that Halloween costume to finish, or a party to go to, or a school project that comes out of nowhere. You can look around your house and find either these items or something comparable. Like I'm starting with foam insulation, some scraps I had left over, and that's this working really well. It worked out really well because it's lightweight and pretty durable. But you can use cardboard if you don't have that. I would just suggest you glue a couple of layers of cardboard together and maybe make sure that the ridges in it, the ripples, go crossways. They go across each other to make it a little bit more sturdy because they tend to bend where those ridges are. None of this is perfect. Like I said, I am not going for perfection here. I'm trying to do something that anyone can replicate. And I've got a lot of costume pieces to make because I'm trying to make my whole family the family from How to Train Your Dragon, including the Night Fury and the Light Fury. So we'll see how that goes. So I used a paper bag. I got my salad in at Publix, and I started with Mod Podge because I had some in the cabinet, but it turns out the Mod Podge was old and really chunky, as you probably can see here in a minute, where it didn't work. I crinkle up the paper just to kind of hide the lines where the folds of the paper were. But it doesn't really matter. The Mod Podge soaks in to the paper and kind of removes a lot of that anyway. I switched to Elmer's glue when I discovered my Mod Podge wasn't really going to cut it, so I add some Elmer's glue. You could start with Elmer's glue, and if you want to thin it down a little bit, it goes further. And I only did one side of it. And the purpose of the paper is to create a paintable surface. But if you're using cardboard, you don't have to do that, but you may want to add a layer of poster board or a couple of layers of paper on top of the cardboard, because the more you work with the cardboard, the more you're going to see that texture, the ripples that cardboard has, and that can end up looking a little bit strange. So when I tried to do the wrapping around the edge, the metallic wrapping, I actually started by trying to wrap the cardboard around the edges, similar to what would have happened with the metal. But it just didn't look good, so I didn't even show that part. I just ended up tearing it all off again, as you can see. So I'm wrapping cardboard around the edge, and I'm using duct tape to start it, and then I'm hot gluing it to itself. So I duct tape it, wrap it around, duct tape it again, hot glue on top of the duct tape, wrap it around, duct tape, hot glue. Because you don't want to really paint duct tape. It's not a great paintable surface. So you want it only to be paper or something paintable showing through, paper or cardboard. I use cereal box for a lot of things because cereal box is smooth and it is pretty durable, it's pretty workable, and it's just easy to use. And I just shaped it to go around the edge. Again, not perfect. I didn't even measure. I didn't count how many of these I needed. I just kind of eyeballed it. You could be more precise with it, but I wouldn't stress it. So I glue these around. And I've seen this part. When I was looking around for a picture of the shield, I saw this part. Someone did one of these and they used aluminum foil. And it's really tempting when you have a costume piece or a child's piece to go for the aluminum foil because you're trying to mimic metal, and aluminum foil is metal. But it never looks right because you can take cardboard, wood, leather, cloth, all these different surfaces, and you can paint them to look like metal. Aluminum foil always looks like foil because you can't get those crinkles out, and it's never going to look like thick metal. It's always going to look like foil. So it usually doesn't work out for things like that. I would far rather use a porous, paintable surface that is sturdy, because metal is sturdy and you can make it look like metal. All right, so I know that the center piece here isn't perfectly round, but again, I was trying to go with things that you either have around the house or you can go to the dollar store and buy for $1. And these bowls, I got an entire package of these bowls for $1 because I didn't have any, but so that's what I did. Now, Model Magic is one of my favorite things. It is the only thing I would recommend for something like this, and you should always, especially if you have kids, you should always have some of this around. It's great stuff. It air dries. It's really easy to work with. It's pretty durable, though if you're going for real cosplay, it's brittle and it's not going to last that long. It can break, unless you're talking about very small pieces, and then it's probably fine. For something like this, it doesn't really add much weight to the project. It works really well. It takes about 24 hours to dry, so as soon as I get this done, I'm going to let it dry. Okay, so I used duct tape for the back just to make it a little bit more durable, because styrofoam, if they start digging into it, if a kid starts messing with it, you're going to end up with styrofoam everywhere. So you can skip the step if you used cardboard. You don't necessarily even have to paint the back if nobody's going to see it. And if you're looking for a tutorial on how to keep duct tape from sticking to itself and being completely obnoxious, you are in the wrong place, because I can't do that. All right, so when the rivets have dried, I hot glue them on, and now I'm just going to do a base painting of silver metallic paint that I got at Walmart. And the trick to make something look like metal quickly is texture. Metal interacts with light. I'm using some chalk paint here, but you could use any gray or black paint. If you need it gray, just mix a little of the silver with it. You want to add in, I used black, and I kind of worked the black into all the ridges. Metal interacts with light, and you want to be sure that you create texture. I started with my brush, and I ended up adding a lot of that texture with just my fingers. And it gives it kind of that look of beaten metal. Now, this last step is going to frustrate some people, because I can freehand the dragon pretty easily, and it's close enough. But if you're not much of an artist, if you don't enjoy doing that part, or you don't feel like you can, just print it out and trace it. Or if you're doing this for a kid's costume, let them do this part, because I promise you, even if you think it looks nothing like the dragon, they will be thrilled, and they will love it, and they will be super proud of it. So, and there you have it. There's Hiccup's shield out of junk around my house. I hope it encourages you to try to make some costume pieces on your own. It's really fun and rewarding, and you actually can end up with things that look better than what you can go buy at the store. So if you have questions, leave it in the comments. Thank you.